Hi kids! Today we are going to be reading a book called Living in South Africa. The author's name is Chloe Perkins and it's illustrated by Tom Woolley. So this is a nonfiction book. It's about something real. Okay, living in South Africa. Dumela! That means hi in northern Sotho. My name is David and I live in South Africa. South Africa is a country in Africa where more than 50 million people live, including me. South Africa is on the southern tip of Africa. It borders 6 countries. One of those countries, Lesotho, is within South Africa's borders. Do you see that, boys and girls? How this country right here is actually surrounded by the country of South Africa. It's really cool. Much of South Africa is covered by plateaus, which are tall, flat areas of land. The plateaus have grasslands on top. Lots of animals like rhinos, zebras, cheetahs, lions, and elephants live in the grasslands. Above the plateaus, the land dips down to form the Kalahari Basin. Some parts of the basin are a sandy desert, while other parts are grassy. Along the coast is the Great Escarpment, where the plateaus drop off. Drakensberg is a very tall mountain range along the eastern part of the Great Escarpment. In the Afrikaans language, Drakensberg means mountain of dragons. Imagine if the mountain really did have dragons. That would be awesome. A very famous South African, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, called South Africa the Rainbow Nation. That's because South Africans come from many different cultures. Lots of people are descendants of African tribes like the Xhosa and Zulu. Some people trace their origins to India. Their ancestors came to South Africa as slaves or laborers hundreds of years ago. Others are descendants of Europeans who came from Holland, France, and England. Whatever our heritage, today we are all South Africans. Johannesburg. South Africa has many big cities. Johannesburg was founded during a gold rush. A theme park was later built around one of the gold mines. Cape Town sits in the shadow of Table Mountain, a flat-top mountain that looks down on the city. Bloemfontein is known as a city of roses. Its name means fountain of flowers in Dutch. Pretoria is home to the biggest zoo in South Africa. It houses many of the coolest plants and animals in our country. Which of these 4 boys and girls would you want to go to? Would you want to go to Johannesburg with the theme park, Cape Town, Bloemfontein, the city of roses, or Pretoria where the zoo is? I live in a house in the suburb of Pretoria with my mom, dad, older sister, and older brother. My dad is a software engineer. He creates programs for computers. My mom is an accountant. She helps people with their money. My sister wants to be a doctor when she grows up, and my brother plays a sport called rugby. We get up really early each morning around 5:30. After I get dressed in my school uniform, I have breakfast with my family. We usually eat cereal or porridge. Because my brother, sister, and I go to a private school in the city, we have to take a long bus trip. We take our first bus to downtown Pretoria and our second bus to another neighborhood where our school is. The trip takes a little over an hour. So that's a little different, boys and girls. This boy in this story goes to a private school and their bus ride takes an hour. Wow. School starts at 7:45 a.m. There are 30 students in my class. Each day is split into 8 different sections or periods. We learn languages, math, science, music, gym, geography, and history. Our first lesson is history. So boys and girls, their class is a little bit bigger than most of ours, but they have a lot of the same subjects. So our first lesson is history. Let's learn about that. We've been learning about the apartheid. Apartheid was a time in our history when the government discriminated against people of color. It began in 1948. when a group called the National Party won the election? The National Party believed that white people were better than people of other races. They forced anyone who wasn't white to carry papers if they wanted to travel outside certain areas. Anyone caught without their papers was arrested. As time went on, things only got worse. More than 3 million people were forced to give up their homes and land to the government, which then resold the land to white people. People of other races were forced into poor, crowded areas called homelands. Oops. People of other races who lived outside the homelands were separated from white South Africans in schools, theaters, and restaurants. On top of everything, the government stripped non-white people of their right to vote. Many South Africans resisted apartheid, joining groups such as the African National Congress. Among the African National Congress leaders were a lawyer named Nelson Mandela. Mandela organized protests and told people to fight apartheid laws, and he was arrested for his belief. So, boys and girls, America went through something similar to this, correct? And we had a leader kind of like Nelson Mandela, a little bit different, Martin Luther King Jr. Do you remember learning about him? Even though he was in jail, Mandela became the symbol for the resistance. By 1989, protests and demands for the people, as well as pressure from countries around the world, started to bring apartheid to the end. Nelson Mandela was released from prison in 1990. In 1994, South Africans of every race were able to vote in their new elections. Nelson Mandela won the election to become South Africa's first black president. After our history lesson, we have languages. We learn English and North and Sotho, but South Africa has 11 official languages in all. Some of the other official languages include Asoa, Zulu, and Afrikaans. After English, we work on our math lesson and then head to lunch. I usually pack a lunch from home, but today is Wednesday, and that means it's macaroni and cheese day. I always eat a school lunch on Wednesdays. I would probably eat school lunch too if it was mac and cheese. After lunch, we have lessons in geography and then science. In science, we're learning about archaeology, or the study of how people in the past lived. There are many fossils and ancient cave paintings to study in South Africa. Next, we have music and gym class, and then school's over. My brother, sister, and I meet to walk to the bus stop. Once we get home, my sister helps me with my homework, and then I play a computer game. How many of you, after your homework, play a computer game? I bet a lot of you. When my parents get home, we go outside to play rugby. Rugby is a sport similar to American football. My brother and I have played rugby in summer programs. Rugby is one of the most popular sports in South Africa. During apartheid, rugby was mostly played by white South Africans, while black South Africans played soccer. But after apartheid ended and we won the Rugby World Cup in 1995, black South Africans were urged to play rugby as well. Today, rugby is a popular sport among many people. Dinner time! We're having samp, or crushed corn and beans with sheep tripe. Tripe means stomach. It's really tasty. After dinner, I help my big brother clean up and do a few chores before bed. On some nights, my family and I stayed up watching rugby. Our team plays against countries from all over the world. Someday I'm going to visit all those countries to see their rugby teams play. Would you like to visit South Africa someday? And then on the back has a little bit of facts about South Africa, like the official name, how many people live there, what their capitals are. Apparently they have 3 capitals. That's really interesting. The languages, how big the country is, what kind of government, what their money is called, some fun facts, and what their flag looks like. All right, boys and girls, I have 2 questions for you. One of them is the question at the end of the book. Would you visit South Africa someday? I think I would. I think it'd be really cool. The next question is, if you were to go to South Africa, where would you want to visit? Would you want to visit the Bloemfontein, where all the flowers are? Would you want to do Johannesburg or Pretoria or Cape Town? Remember, in one of the pages in the book, it goes over the 4 main ones. Johannesburg, it has a roller coaster. Cape Town, Bloemfontein, I think that's where I would go, the City of Roses, or Pretoria with the zoo. Which of those 4 would you like to go to? Would you like to go to the roller coaster, the City of Roses, the zoo, or the mountain? All right, boys and girls, I'm going to attach 2 different websites. One of them is going to be a coloring sheet about South Africa, and the other one is going to be for any of my friends that use the Epic website. It is going to be different monster stories from South Africa. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. You have a good day.